Well, it looks like Bitcoin just crossed 60K for like the 69th time. Make no mistake, we have become exceedingly efficient at it. But is this it? Is the bull market here? Well, VanEck believes the selling is over. We have massive accumulation taking place right now, and the Fed is totally screwed. Probably why Jack Mallers sees Bitcoin hitting 100K by year's end. And that's just the tip. You're gonna want to stay until the finish, because Michael Saylor just laid out 3 items that will 10x. No, wait, he said 100. Holy shit! That puts Bitcoin somewhere around the $6 million range. Enough with this! Let's get to the news and prepare yourself, because this shit is about to get bullish. Send it!
We need to address the fiscal deficits. Like, what are we talking about? The debt is untenable. You know, in the beginning of our conversation, we're talking about just like, no matter what, the US is in trouble. You want to raise rates, you want to lower rates, you want to work with Japan this way or that way. Right now, the policy is, please, nobody sell your treasuries. We can't afford it. Everyone hold on tight. We have to figure out how to land this plane. And a sign of confidence is backing a lot of your deficits, your debt, with something hard and something real. And we talk about things like global debt to GDP, or even domestic debt to GDP here in America. That ratio is bad. 120, 130% debt to GDP, not good. 350% global debt to GDP, very bad. You need to find more growth. You need to find more real hard assets. And so by building a Bitcoin strategic reserve, listen, over the last decade, Bitcoin's annual average return is 63% year over year. It is not only the best performing asset over the last decade and the last 15 years, it's the best performing by far. It's not even close. And so what do you want to do? You want to back your deficits and back your future promises with that thing. You get to just buy that growth off the shelf. And so the only thing that's outgrowing the amount of money our government is spending is Bitcoin. How do you solve the deficit problem? You own something that's growing faster than the White House can spend. That's Bitcoin. And so I think no matter who's in office, it's not like a partisan issue. It's just a great idea. It's just a fundamentally good idea that should give confidence to the world of, okay, someone in that country is doing math, someone in that country understands the gravity of the problem, and someone in that country is working on it. I think that's the only message we want to send, not only to Americans, but to the world. And it's just math.
Jack absolutely shreds it, as usual, and with all this, we knew the money printer would likely be coming back, and with a vengeance. Would you just look at that? It's looking like the Fed is going to cut rates 75 basis points across 3 reductions this year. They're going to print so much money, it's going to make our eyes bleed. Welcome back to the most bullish Bitcoin news show on the planet. I'm your chief propagandist, Rustin. I'm about to show you something that will rattle your sphincter. Boom! Each American taxpayer now owes 4.51 Bitcoin towards the U.S. national debt. WTF are they talking about? Well, you see, when it comes to the government, there is no such thing as an unbalanced budget. Whenever the state spends beyond their means, and that is putting it very lightly. Like, have you seen the number? Let's go back. 35 trillion. I don't even know if that's a real number. Anyway, the state's malfeasance gets passed on to us in the form of taxes, inflation, which is the hidden stealth tax. Is that taxation without representation? I'm asking for a friend. Or also debt. Tell him, Milton.
As I said before, keep your eye on one thing and one thing only, how much government is spending, because that's the true tax. Every budget is balanced. There is no such thing as an unbalanced federal budget. You're paying for it. If you're not paying for it through it in the form of explicit taxes, you're paying for it indirectly in the form of inflation or in the form of borrowing. The thing you should keep your eye on is what government spends. And the real problem is to hold down government spending as a fraction of our income. And if you do that, you can stop worrying about the debt.
The people who understand this are running arbitrage on the rest of the populace that doesn't seem to understand 10th grade math. Take a look at this. It called it 10 years ago. Did you front run the hedge funds? If you didn't, worry not, my friends. It's not too late, but time is ticking. Look at this. Global Bitcoin ETF tracker now showing 40 funds that hodl 1 million Bitcoin. And whether it be an exchange, Michael Dell, Tether, the US government, Mr. 100, well, he bought 504 more Bitcoin the other day. That is an entire day's supply that is mined by a single entity. Not bullish enough for you? What about Japan's miniature MicroStrategy, Metaplanet continuing to accumulate and implement MicroStrategy's playbook? Oh wait, there's more. What about Italia Bank? They're now offering Bitcoin trading service on its banking platform to its 1.2 million citizens. Remember when we said Bitcoin's going mainstream? This is kind of what it looks like. Dubai just approved Bitcoin for salary payments. When's America gonna get with the program? This is ridiculous. Guys, I know you and me both. We've been sitting here like, come on, man. I know it's gotta be coming. It's imminent, right? Well, that bullish tingling in your nether region may have been a signal, because Michael Saylor agrees and he thinks the Bitcoin sale it's not gonna last much longer. And he's not alone. Look at Samson with all the planned Bitcoin buying, coming up and happening right now. I'd probably be a little more bullish. But we already know Michael Saylor and Samson Mao are super bullish on Bitcoin. But it looks like VanEck's head of digital assets is joining the party. What do you think, Mr. Matthew Siegel, head of digital assets over at VanEck? Is the selling over?
A few factors are at play. One is the unwind of various carry trades and growth, which has been struggling a little bit. And when you look at Bitcoin's correlation with the NASDAQ, it's at a 2-year high. It's well below the highs that we had in kind of late 2022, but it's a 2-year high. The second reason is there are forced sellers in the market. The German government has sold all of its Bitcoin, $2 billion worth. The US government is selling Silk Road related coins. There are 2 major bankruptcies where creditors have just been paid out. That's Mt. Gox and Genesis. So with all this forced selling behind us, and this is a typical seasonal pattern where Bitcoin tends to struggle in the kind of 1 to 3 months after the halving, which was in April, and right pre-election, as the market comes to grips with whatever candidate wins, we're in for 4 more years of reckless fiscal policy. The history is that Bitcoin really hits its stride at that point. So we're buyers here.
I don't know if any of us are bullish enough. Maybe Giga Chad, because he's predicting Bitcoin to like 100x from here. But before Saylor reveals the 3 catalysts that could send Bitcoin to $6 million, look at our likes.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Help us keep the lights on, like, subscribe, and pay tribute to the masters of Bitcoin self-custody, the Bitcoin way. You're looking to learn how to properly secure your Bitcoin. You might want to head on over to the newly revamped Bitcoin Way website, where you can begin your road to Bitcoin sovereignty today. If you're looking to schedule a free 30-minute consultation, go ahead and use that link below in the show notes.
3 things that take Bitcoin up by 100x from where it is today. The first thing is to legitimize and accept and endorse it as an institutional grade asset. So fair regulation of the asset itself in the securities industry. In January, we got the first installment of that with the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF. So I think allowing in-kind crates and redemptions will be a big advance forward. When you allow people to trade options on them, you will eliminate the or lessen the volatility and increase the ability to generate yield. And those 2 things are what you would expect in the maturation of the asset class as a security. So that's the first plank. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10 with regard to institutionalizing the asset, we're at a 6 there, and in terms of embracing. The second plank is fair accounting. Fair accounting was critical, and this January it became optional, and next January it will be mandatory. And so that's a big step forward. We're 75% of the way along there, but we'll be sort of at 100% when you have 2 dozen or 3 dozen companies and they're all using the same fair value accounting and everybody's talking about it, and you start to see companies report multi-billion-dollar or 10 mega-billion-dollar gains on that accounting, right? That'll be a big deal. That's 2. And then the third is if individuals aren't allowed to self-custody, that's hostile to Bitcoin. The third plank is we just need for the SEC, the OCC, the FDIC to allow banks like JP Morgan and Citigroup and Goldman. But by the way, you might not like JP Morgan because of what the CEO has said. But let me guarantee you that within a year or 2 years of when it's possible to custody Bitcoin, JP Morgan will start a process to do that. And within 4 years, they'll be custodying Bitcoin because it's money and that's what they do.
Okay. So really break it down for me. Giga Chad, should I buy now or wait for like 12K.
Bitcoin is digital capital. The world's going to be remade. There's a digital transformation in finance taking place. Everybody on Wall Street understands it. Everybody on Capitol Hill understands it. Everybody on Main Street understands it. It's like electricity or fire or the internet. Bitcoin is the only truly global capital market in the world. And so if you think about the volatility of it, the volatility is the price that you pay in order to create billions of dollars of credit and liquidity at your fingertips. We're buying all the time. We're buying every quarter. We're buying the lows, the mids, the highs. I'll be buying the top forever because I'm expecting Bitcoin will continue to appreciate as digital capital. I think physical capital, real estate capital, financial capital, people are going to sell those things and they're going to move their money into digital capital. And it's going to be a trend for a long, long time to come.
What a legend. Hey, if these guys are right and Luke Groman is too, we are in the end game. Stay frosty, my friends. The fourth turning continues. Space Monkeys!
Ready to sacrifice himself for greater good.
But now to keep this bullish party going. Like, subscribe, share the Sound Money Gospel. Give us a pat. Follow us on Twitter to catch all the latest breaking news and the dankest memes. Keep stacking, my friends. Valhalla awaits. I'll catch you next time. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.